There were some big buzz generations in K-pop this week. It started last Sunday when BTS performed at the first ever halftime show at the 2026 World Cup final. Yes, a different kind of football, but a halftime show at the final between Spain and Argentina alongside performers like Madonna, Shakira, Coldplay, and Justin Bieber. Another news, NewJeans returned to fans with a new content 2 years after the last comeback and a contentious legal battle. Also, Lisa from BLACKPINK shared that she has a documentary in the works. To catch us up on all the K-pop news and the buzz around it, we're joined by Jeff Benjamin, our K-pop expert and columnist at Billboard. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning. Hello. After an exciting week.
It really has been. It's interesting because growing up in California, not a lot of people are into this kind of football. It was definitely a lot more about NFL. But I suppose when the World Cup takes its games to, well, some of its games to North America, people pay a lot more attention.
It's been especially living in New York. It's been so interesting, even just to see the mix of people and the excitement that bars and games have been having. It's been fun.
Were people watching like the live footages and live games at bars?
Yes, or like people had TVs outside their restaurants. It was like a lot was really going on. Yeah, people love this stuff.
And it seems that that's like part of the FIFA game, right? They need, I think, new waves of people who are perhaps less interested in this kind soccer to get excited about it. And a halftime show is. I guess for the newer fans, it could be an exciting element. I can see why some diehard football fans might not be inclined to what they can see as disruption to the whole game. But nonetheless, it was still a really incredibly fun halftime show to watch. BTS performing alongside Madonna, Shakira, Coldplay, and Justin Bieber. What happened and how was the response, Jeff?
Yeah, well, like you said, I think it's an apt point to say that maybe some longtime football soccer fans were maybe a bit skeptical of all these new things coming into the to their world,
like hydration breaks.
Right, and this was the first time they staged a halftime show in this way, and already it was kind of. People were a little skeptical at how this was really going to be able to be pulled off because it was only about, less than 15 minutes initially announced for Madonna, BTS, and Shakira. Then they added Justin Bieber to the lineup and Coldplay and a choir and, the
like
Muppets.
The Muppets.
All these things. So, the general sentiment was like, it felt a little rushed and, it would have been nice to see, more. But given the circumstances, I think everyone really came with like a statement moment, a statement song, BTS with Dynamite, a song meant to lift everyone up during the pandemic, Madonna with music, a song about music makes the people come together. I think given what everyone was given and this being the first time and such a huge production, I think everyone did really, really well, especially BTS for kind of being able to do what they do, bring out that choreography, still bring out, all these dancers, all this group movement, and be able to do that within the time constraints and something that they're probably not used to.
Absolutely. And to add an exciting element is one thing, but for it to go smoothly in the middle of the final matches between, Spain and Argentina, Messi's, I'm assuming Black Swan, the final hurrah with the World Cup games. But anyway, a lot was up in the air, frankly. Now, what does BTS performing at the World Cup say for their position? Because I can't underscore enough how big of a moment that actually is.
Yes, and it's almost tough for my American brain to, think about it because soccer isn't as popular as it is around the world. But to be honest, this was a World Cup. I believe way more people were watching this than the Super Bowl, which is definitely the big comparison that they use in the US. But BTS has, expressed their interest in playing the Super Bowl halftime show one day. And I think that could be amazing and something that they could pull off. And, that's the thing too, is that it was interesting kind of the approach that they took. It's not like they were promoting their new album Arirang or anything like that. They went with a hit. Madonna has a new album that just came out a couple weeks ago. She didn't perform her new song. They kind of met the moment and were able to, just show what they had to do, lift people up, and also show that they're kind of part of this larger global pop conversation. Because you have Shakira, Burna Boy from Nigeria was there, Coldplay representing the UK, of course. So it was really cool to kind of see Korea up there. And I always like to include something that maybe everyone didn't see, but there's been footage going around that right before J-Hope did his thing on stage, he was like signaling that something was off about the stage or something was wrong. He was trying to get people's attention. And I saw this clip after the halftime show and I went back and I thought, oh, maybe I'll see something or I'll see him look, paranoid or pointing it out. No, I look back at it. It looks just as flawless as you'd ever think. So I think they really proved that they can take the global stage that way. Even if there was chaos around them, they still really pulled it off.
I'm sure there's a lot of chaos. I'm sure a lot of things don't go as planned, or the earpiece is not working, or the sound quality is off. These things happen. First of all, the stadium is massive, and this is the first time ever. It's a lot of pressure. World Cup final halftime show. Just saying that sounds strange to me. Halftime show is quintessentially NFL territory, so this is something new. And you're right. The fact that BTS shared the stage with the greats and took in the moment with such professionalism is exciting as ever. Now, we can do a whole BTS segment, but there are other movers and shakers, and frankly, this one was a big head turner. Another big headline this week was a surprise release of new content from four members of NewJeans. The last four standing, perhaps. They looked a little bit different. Tell us about what this perhaps signals.
Yeah, so for the first time in 2 years, NewJeans released their album Supernatural right around this time, exactly 2 years ago in 2024. Then, of course, there was the fallout with their label, a court case where they ultimately lost, and they were said that their contracts were still valid and they'd returned to Hybe's Adore label. But out of nowhere, these new videos came out. They were kind of like mini films where the four members, because as of the last couple months, member Danielle was dismissed from the group, and she's in her own legal battle now with Hybe. But the girls that remain, Minji, Hani, Hyein, and Herin, they came back with these cute mini films. There was a lot of little teasers and little notes that referenced their fan base, that referenced their debut date, which was July 22nd. And so naturally we got the content on that this week for sure. But yeah, it was really a surprise and nice to see. There's not really any indication of what's to come, but I actually do believe that that we will see more from NewJeans really soon.
And I think most of the fans were betting on that, because why have these incredible teaser moment and not have a full-fledged comeback? And frankly, I know there's a lot of trouble behind the scenes, but from Hybe and Adore's perspective, they would want NewJeans to return as soon as possible with good content and re-engage their fans. So what's the future of NewJeans at this point? Because for a while, Jeff, there was a lot of uncertainties. It got really messy. And for fans, I suppose I can see why it could be heartbreaking to see the girls go through the court and usually wearing black.
Right. And that's the thing. The part that gives me hope is that, yes, they're there. They're showing up for their fans.
Right.
They're doing something to honor and recognize that, yes, this is our 4-year anniversary. We're not going to let this one slip by. And also, the song, not the songs, the video titles, they're named 2026 Summer of NewJeans. So I know we're halfway through the summer already, but if you're going to title your video Summer of NewJeans, I think that has to mean, something NewJeans related is coming. So, I would like to believe, and of course, there's going to be questions abound, but I would like to believe that both sides are making that effort to find that mutual understanding, to get back to what they do best as performers and a music company and making great music in that way. So we can only hope that yeah, both sides have taken the time to heal, understand one another, and hopefully bring out something because I really do believe that NewJeans was so special, largely in part because there was a big focus on the music. If you
Mm.
remember, they actually debuted with a surprise release. So, and it was just out of nowhere. They released this song, Attention, and everyone loved it. And I think that was always really a key part of New Jeans' appeal. So hopefully we'll get back to that.
We could do a whole segment on this too. I mean, not just going through core trials, but their image, their branding, and what NewJeans did so iconically well. But I think it would say something larger to the K-pop industry if they can in fact come out of this really prolonged tunnel and focus on the band and their music and their branding and everything that happens behind the scenes, however messy, can be put aside in a different compartment.
Yeah, and someone brought this up that they did quite well in the US. I don't know how big they were in Korea, but their name were BAP. They debuted, I think, in like 2008 or something, or maybe a little bit later. But they went through something similar, going to court with their company, actually did come back, started releasing music once again. And they were able to do that, fulfill their contracts, and the guys stay together to this day, in their own ways. But yeah, it's not impossible, I guess, is what I say. So that's why I have hope.
And Jeff, last in our K-pop news headline for the week anyway, Lisa from BLACKPINK announced she'll be releasing her own documentary later this year. Did you know that this was in the works? I had no idea. What do we know so far?
Yeah, this kind of came as a surprise, but I think a welcome surprise, especially because it's not like she's just putting this on like her YouTube channel or something like that. It's actually going to go through the festival circuit. It's going to premiere at Toronto International Film
Oh.
Festival, TIFF. And to me, that indicates that it's going to be somewhat of a deeper story, something that might go a little bit more in depth. And I really do welcome that because Lisa is an amazing celebrity, but she's a very guarded celebrity as well. And I think I would love to know like what goes on in her brain or what's going on in those intimate moments with her. She had Coachella, she had her debut album release, she had I mean so many huge moments. Like I'm not even thinking of all of them, but I would really love to see like that depth happen and kind of figure out like what makes her tick. And I really hope that's what this documentary does.
I hope the documentary brings something a little bit different because I think the girls of Blackpink are really good at gauging that. How much is the public really curious about? How much can I share? Having that creative control
Mm.
seems really important, but giving us something really generic is perhaps not what they're wired to do, and they really understand the demands of it. I mean, I don't know if she'll go in depth with her time in Paris or her relationship, but I mean, some questions are there.
Right. And that's what I can only hope because it's nice when you have the documentary style because it really is it's your ground, it's your safe space
Right.
that you can reveal as much as you want, but also, it's an opportunity to gain new fans, people to see you in a new light and hopefully, show that more human side. So I'm really looking forward to it. I might have to go to Toronto and check it out.
Ooh. Jeff, thank you so much. A pleasure as always. We did find your song in our system. Hurrah!
Great.
Can you introduce it for our listeners? Your pick of the week.
Yes, just in case you guys haven't had your coffee yet. This is a thumper, a really high energy song from a great soloist, Wonho. He is so underrated, I think, but he's always making great, accessible music. To me, this song sounds like it could have been in the World Cup stadium over the weekend. It's super energetic, super high energy, and I think it's one of his best singles in a long time. So enjoy it. It's called Don't Wake Me Up from his new EP, Core.
According to Jeff, this is like the caffeine boost that you need. So there you go. Thank you so much, Jeff. We'll speak to you again soon.
Thank you.